Hello, this is Dr. Ford Brewer with heart attack, stroke, cancer, disability prevention. Again, why depend on a cure when you can prevent these things? Today's video is going to be about a book. It's a book report or review. The name of the book is Diet 101. The author's name is Jenny Ruhl, and the subtitle is The Truth About Low Carb Diets. Now, I've done another review on one of Jenny Ruhl's books. It was called Blood Sugar 101. Jenny's a diabetic. She developed the award-winning website called Blood Sugar 101 for diabetics. She's a member of a group of diabetics calling themselves, I think, the 5% group. Their goal is to keep their hemoglobin A1C below 5%. So is this book for diabetics? Well, she certainly wrote it for diabetics, and most of the chapters have to deal with glucose metabolism in a diabetic or pre-diabetic mode. However, I think this book is important for everyone. Again, I think one of the problems in our culture and society today is that we do not realize the importance of glucose metabolism and failures in glucose metabolism in not only diabetics but older populations. We realize we're hitting a type 2 diabetes epidemic. Some of us realize it's because our population is getting older. Yes, obesity's helped driving that, but aging is driving it even more. Now, some things about her book. She starts off with again, she's talking about diabetes and pre-diabetes. And she comes out and shows normal blood glucose levels throughout the day and abnormals. This is from a different image, but the bottom line is the same. I think all of us would recommend that you don't hit above 120. This is more like a normal or desired. This is getting into pre-diabetic range when you have numbers routinely over 150. And again, there's evidence that maybe you're getting impact on tissue with glycosylation, glucose bonding to the proteins at that level. And then clearly diabetic once you get over 200, 300. These classic dips, and these increases are obviously associated with meals. These dips actually correspond to 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and 4 p.m. Again, maybe older generation has heard of the concept of giving somebody some glucose pepper. 10, 2, and 4. That's the origin of the 10, 2, and 4 on the Dr. Pepper logo. At 10, 2, and 4, they felt people had low sugar and they needed a boost or a pep. Now, let's talk about a little bit more about Jenny Ruhl's book. As with blood glucose, Blood Sugar 101, her research is just incredible. Although she's not a medical professional, what she has learned is amazing. And again, I think I learned more from this book on low-carb diets than I did on maybe previous 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6 books. It's very, very good information. Let me just run through some of the things that she talks about. Again, she talks about the patterns of glucose that you tend to see. She talks about the perception, and maybe fairly well proven, that it's drops in glucose that make you hungry. Not so much being here or being really low, but the drop. So as you can see, people that are starting to get pre-diabetes or diabetes can have bigger drops in their blood glucose. And maybe that's driving a lot of the hunger, which creates the weight gain associated with prediabetes. She talks about that. She talks about the damage associated with having higher blood glucose levels and glycosylation. She talks about glycemic index. But to get back to this concept of decreasing appetite with a decreasing fluctuation in blood glucose levels, her point is this. The thousands or maybe hundreds of thousands of diabetics that have reported into her site and other sites regarding the impact of diet on glucose underlines the potential for low carb diets. If you get the carbs out of your diets, you can decrease that fluctuation of glucose and therefore decrease your appetite. And if you listen and look at comments that people have made about ketogenic appetites, what they all discuss is that I don't have to fight hunger. I have actually tried that myself, and I think that's clearly one of the concepts and one of the things that I found. I did not have to fight hunger with a low-carb diet. She gets into some other stuff too. I think an example of a real difference between Jenny Ruhl, for example, and Gary Taubes. Jenny obviously is a major proponent of low carb diets, but she points out a couple of things that just are not good about low carb diets. Number one, they're not a magic cure. The problem with all of the diets, and she reviewed a lot of them, was that people didn't stay on them for 6 months. If you don't stay on a diet for 6 months, you're going to gain your weight back, as they do with low carb as well as plant-based, Ornish diet, any of the other diets. Go back and look at the experience, the reports that have been generated over the past few years. She also makes the point that low-carb diets do not prevent diabetes, and I think that's completely understandable. Diabetes is a breakdown of the enzymes and other components of the metabolism of glucose. It's not so much a behavioral thing. It's not caused by diet. It's caused by your own body's metabolism. So again, low-carb diets don't cure diabetes. They don't decrease it. They don't make it go away. They don't prevent it. But they are a major tool in helping manage it. Low-carb diets decrease insulin levels and insulin resistance. Well, probably not. Again, a tool for managing diabetes and managing insulin resistance, a tool for weight loss in terms of decreasing those peaks of blood glucose, but not a tool to, again, not a treatment mode for this. Again, the time's moved quickly. I've barely had a chance to touch on the encyclopedic review she's done of different types of diets. Again, I'd highly recommend the book. Thank you.